ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to John Tiller's Naval Campaigns. So, I've recently purchased Jutland. It is the first game of the Naval Campaigns. And, frankly, I really wanted to something that was there to represent, like, World War One naval combat. Something like that has been... I've been itching to play something like this for a long time. Really, with Rule the Waves, you get that sort of, like, industrial sort of thing, the developing, the research, R&D, that sort of thing. But the fleet combat leaves a hell of a lot to be desired. So I went ahead and purchased Jutland with some of the Patreon money and PayPal money that had been kindly donated by yourself. So thank you to all of you who donate. It makes this all possible and allows things like this. So today we are going to play the Battle of the Coronel as the British, as the Royal Navy in the area. So the 1st of November 1914, Admiral von Spee's East Asiatic Squadron had been loose in the Pacific since the outbreak of the war. The situation was not acceptable to the British Admiralty, and they placed Rear Admiral Craddock on alert to intercept von Spee if he tried to round Cape Hope and break out into the Atlantic. They came upon each other at sundown. So we are off the coast of Chile. Now there's different variations of the Battle of Coronel, which is quite cool. So we have one where HMS Defence, a ship he had requested but was denied, actually arrived at the battle. And then there is one where we have HMS Canopus. Now Canopus was a old battleship. She was really more of a liability. She could not maintain speed. She had terrible maintenance. I believe after I think it was HMS Canopus. I believe, like, the head engineer or one of the engineers had basically a breakdown and had not performed maintenance on the engines, and as a result, the ship was only made capable of reaching about 10 knots and not for very long. Excuse me. But anyway, it would be very interesting to see her in this fight. But we are going to play the normal battle. We are going to play as the British against the Germans and see how we fare. Now, historically, the strength disparity was quite large. The British, as we'll see in just a moment over here. So now we do start pause. This is paused, normal, slower and faster. Now, it's not a very pretty game, but it's one that represents naval warfare quite well. So we have Good Hope, Monmouth, we have Tranto. So there we go, this is our auxiliary cruiser over here. AMC on Tranto. Not a very good ship, basically an auxiliary ship, something of a liability in this an armed merchant. And then we do have Glasgow, so we can select these ships and we'll have them displayed up here. So we can see that we do have Monmouth, which has a crew of 600, size is 9,500 tons. Now the Drake class is our greatest ship in the area, which is the Good Hope. Now we do have you. Very happy that we do have Good Hope. Monmouth is also a heavy cruiser, though significantly lighter. You can see that the Good Hope has 6 inches of belt armor and 2.5 deck, pretty well armored actually. Monmouth only 4 inches of belt and 2 inches of deck. The bloody Glasgow only 2 inches of belt and 1 inch of deck. And then obviously the auxiliary ship only 0.5. That's pretty much just the actual steel hull, really. So, very thin, really. Now then, we do have sight of the enemy over here, so we can see a light cruiser over here. Then we have a heavy cruiser, light cruiser. Now, historically, the German strength was 2 armoured cruisers and 3 light cruisers. So there is another light cruiser around here that we may not have seen yet. Of course, we have 2 armoured cruisers, or basically heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser and 1 auxiliary cruiser. So in effect, it's 2 heavy cruisers against, well, 2 heavy cruisers and 3 light cruisers, with obviously our light cruiser in support. Okay. So wind direction is south at 15 knots. That doesn't really help us. Really doesn't. I mean, the wind is... Actually, no, it may help us. Actually, no, this is to our advantage with the wind being south. If we pursue a path around about this way. So what I can do here is I can go over and take a look at Glasgow. Let's get right over her. Now, where is this option? There we go, we can have the arrow displayed, so this will show which way she will turn. To be honest, we should turn about away from them and try to group our forces together. Otherwise, we are going to be in a bad shape. There we go. There's an option to have this. Let's see. It's here somewhere. Range grid. Group names. Yep. I can't remember where the option is now. It's definitely up here anyway. But I'll find it in time. Right, so we'll have you turn about. Good hope. Monmouth can carry on that path there. Now, I do want them at full speed, so this button here indicates full speed, so we'll tell them to go to full speed if they're not already. And Otranto, you just need to get out of here, in all honesty. You are on a path out of here, that is good news then. Okay. So we do need to try and distract. So Otranto has not been spotted. Oops. The only ship that has been spotted is... Actually, no. Yep, Glasgow has been spotted and is being targeted. Okay, so what we can do now is we can allow the game to actually start. Now, it is real time, which is pretty cool. Granted, it doesn't look fantastic, but hey. Shots out. There's a very low chance of really hitting anything. So we can take a look at large picture here. So if we take a look at Good Hope. There we go. So that's a nice depiction of Good Hope. Pretty cool. I like it. Okay. Optional rules. Oh. Right. Now the thing is, Glasgow needs to get the hell out of there. She is a very, very lightly armoured ship. So imagine the other two ships will be right behind here. Also, the other ship will be behind here. Okay, Good Hope is turning. As we can see here. Range grid, okay. As we can change it to group name, so all these ships are detached. However, we do have the South Atlantic Squadron here, West Coast Division. We go to speeds, we can see speeds, so 18 knots, 21 knots. These aren't very fast ships, honestly. Percentage, that shows you a percentage of their health. And we have range. There we go, facing. That's what I needed. So we do not have any sort of identification on this light cruiser. We know she is of the light cruiser sort of weight. We do not know what her name is. Okay, so what we can do here is we can speed things up. Good Hope and Monmouth are on their way. She's making good speed, I should say. God, terrible today. Awful when you get like a bug in your throat. Okay. So, we need to try and turn about this historical... Oh, wow, okay. Glasgow got hit pretty hard there. So we are going to have to turn her right about now and try to get out of there. Well, it's not a good situation either way, but she took a big hit there. That is a big hit. Yes, 376 crewmen. Okay, we no longer have any sighting on the heavy cruisers, only the light cruiser up here. Good Hope is almost in range. Monmouth is closing the gap. Otranto just needs to get out of here. She has no place in this battle. Bloody hell. She's taking a pounding. She is definitely taking a pounding. We can lay smoke here. So I'm going to start laying smoke if we have that capability. I don't think she has that capability then. Okay, turnabout. Good Hope. He's just about almost in range. Monmouth up here too. So we will need to keep Glasgow in the fight, as frankly, we do not have the numbers here, so we need every gun that we can bring to muster. I really hope that Otranto does not get found. Okay, so we've lost sight in. That's fine, we can gather the forces. Okay. Bring you down here. I'm just trying to find out what things do, to be honest. Right victory conditions. So at the moment we have a draw. Right, we have shots being fired there. That's not good. Okay, Monmouth. So we have 18 knots here. I want her to drop speed a little bit. Then turn about. As we do have secondaries range here, then I believe the blue represents like basically torpedoes. The widest circle would probably represent... Oh my, found her. Would probably represent visual. Okay, so we're going to go to full speed. Okay, so we do have two ships now firing on the light cruiser here. So we have effectively doubled our firepower. We do have Good Hope over here. Now Good Hope being our largest ship in the fight, our best ship really, most armoured, is really quite nice to have. So, that's going for us, which I'm quite happy about. So, this would be HMS Good Hope. She was constructed rather early in the century, originally named Africa. Service bar of Coronel, okay. So she had 2 single 9.2-inch guns, 16 single 6-inch guns. So this was the main armament then. The 9.2-inch guns. Large guns, really? Not huge, but pretty good. Okay, keep turning about. Now, you can imagine how having HMS Canopus would have made a big difference here. Her large guns, I believe she had about 12-inch guns, would have made a big difference. I believe they were 12-inch. I can Google that one. Right. Yes, she had two double-barreled 12-inch guns, so 305mm guns. They would have made a fine addition to the fleet here. Might not have been such a crushing German victory. But for the time being, we're not doing badly. Right, we spotted a heavy cruiser over here, the armoured cruiser. I do not know what her name is. I fear for Glasgow. Otranto is on the way out. Monmouth is closing the range. So we need to have Monmouth at the rear, Glasgow in the centre, Good Hope leading. Right, so the ship is now within main gun range, obviously, and secondary gun range. Very close, actually, not too far out for torpedo range, so we do need to be careful of torpedoes, as that is a real and very, very dangerous threat. So you can see the range difference here. These 9-inch guns are making a big difference. I believe the Germans had smaller caliber guns, but they were generally more accurate. And obviously, German shells were more reliable than British shells during this stage. Well, it's not really so much the stage, it's pretty much like German shells were more reliable than British naval shells, for the most part. There was a flaw within British naval shells, principally at the Battle of Jutland. Basically, the British shells would impact on the enemy's hull, and then the kinetic sort of force, the kinetic shock. You can imagine the shells being fired from a gun, a gigantic bloody gun, cannon I should say, against the side of a hull, steel hull, armoured. Yeah, that's a lot of kinetic energy. It would set off the fuses on some shells early, and then the shells that would penetrate, right, Good Hope has been hit there, only slight damage. Yes, for the shells that would penetrate, sometimes they would not even blow up, so there's lots of problems. Whereas the Germans didn't have anything like that, or at least anywhere near the rate of failure. Okay, so we are in a bad situation here. I feel that we do need to turn about because obviously we have a greater concentration of force. Good Hope has been hit again. Right, turn about. Turn about. Yes, Good Hope is taking damage. There's a long time remaining to this battle. It's going to be a very difficult one. Okay, we are within range. Right, you need to keep a straight course to try and make up that distance. Good Hope at 23 knots is by far the fastest ship here, the most modern ship. Can we go any faster? Okay, Good Hope has been hit again, she is taking damage. Right, Monmouth can do 23 knots, Glasgow can do 25.5. That's good news then. Can I try and do any faster? No. Okay. At least we have increased our speed here. I'm very much not happy with the amount of damage that we're taking. At least Good Hope hasn't suffered any crew losses, so there's no loss of efficiency yet. She's taken a pounding, however. I could obviously have brought Otranto into the fight, but with her lack of armor, she would have been ripped apart. It would have just led to deaths. There's no point to having her in the fight. Okay. We could do with lowering the speed and allowing Monmouth to catch up. But we have achieved a hit. That's fantastic. Finally giving some damage out there. And again. Wow, okay. Medium damage. Okay, so we inflicted quite heavy damage here. It looks like she's on fire. Smoke is obscuring her. Or at least she might be laying a smoke screen. Ah, they're laying a smoke screen, okay. Right, I'm sure we can do the same. I must just not know how to actually use the command. I think it's like you hold control and then you press the button or something and you right click on the map. But either way, we have dealt good damage. Right, Monmouth is taking fire. Okay. I think we just launched a torpedo. Well, anyway, that seems to be how you launch torpedoes. Not good. Okay. Let's turn about. We are going to lower speed to allow the other ship to catch up. To 20 knots. Good Hope is doing very well here. We do need to allow Monmouth to catch up, however. Monmouth, though, has taken 0 hits, which is quite nice to have. Okay. Toronto is on her way out. So we have lost sight of the enemy light cruiser down here. Right, drop speed further. Drop to 15 knots. There's a moderate breeze. Okay, we lost sight. That's good news. Right, we acquired her. It seems this is obscuring vision. Good Hope has been hit again. Okay, increase speed. Let's increase to full. Monmouth will have to catch up in time. Hopefully we can concentrate firepower against the light cruiser here. Right, once again we've acquired the heavy cruiser. Or the armoured cruiser. Okay, Good Hope has been hit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pull about a turn. Like so. What we need to do is avoid allowing their ships just to pile shots and shots and shots into us. We'll be able to allow Monmouth to catch up, turn about away from the enemy heavy cruisers, increase the range. Which will be quite nice to have there. So visibility is 19,100 yards, seems to be dropping slightly. So we have medium damage. Now that's quite good. Good Hope's been hit again. That's quite a bad hit. Okay, still 900 crew. There we go, we've almost completed our turn. Good Hope is still to turn. Right, it's slow. Glasgow. Allow Good Hope to just catch up. Okay, so then what we'll do here is... once we get to about here, we'll start... Actually, we could start the turning process now. Well, soon anyway. Right, we'll start it now. We'll have Monmouth turn, and then we'll slow her down so she ends up in line with our ships here. So then we can have Monmouth lead, Glasgow in the centre, Good Hope take the rear. Okay, Monmouth is turning. Right, Monmouth is underway in that turn. She's doing very well to keep her speed. Obviously that would increase the turning radius. Okay, drop speed. Good Hope has been hit again. She's taken 16% damage. And we've yet to even hit anything of these armoured cruisers. Okay. Go on, Monmouth. Right, so we'll drop her speed lower. 10 knots. They're turning about. But the news is, well, the good news is that this has put their formation off the time in. Okay, 5 times faster. Okay, Good Hope's taken a big hit there. That's a pretty nasty hit. She's almost lost a quarter of her health. Ah, good. Due to hit.